this is 100 years ago. Now, 120 years ago, when all of these big people that we say, the Bilderbergs and the Rothschilds and the DuPonts and all them, when they made all their money, they built their mass, unbelievable fortunes. Did you know there was no income tax, no dividends tax, no alternative minimum tax, no sales tax, no cell phone tax, no gasoline tax, no school tax, no road tax, no Social Security tax, no state income tax, no state property tax. Do you realize that there was no taxes at all? Could you imagine your income when you look at your check and you look at the gross and you look at the net? The reason they call it gross is because what winds up in the net. If you got to keep all the money that you made, could you imagine if there was no property tax on your property and you got to keep that money? Could you imagine that if you rented your apartment, what your rent would be if you didn't have to pay the property tax? But I don't pay it, my landlord does. Does he? Could you imagine what your grocery bill would be if you didn't have to pay the tax? If there wasn't an income tax on every employee at the grocery store, if there wasn't an income tax and a sales tax and a VAT tax and a gasoline tax and an insurance tax and a tax on everything you buy at the grocery store, could you imagine how much cheaper things would be? We are taxed on. Our government takes in $4 trillion a year. The richest man in the world is worth about $150 billion. The largest companies in the world, like Apple, are worth just at $1 trillion. And our government takes in $4 trillion a year. Russia, China, they have annual budgets in the billions. We take in $4 trillion a year. We spend 6 or 7 trillion. Ladies and gentlemen, our founding fathers threw the tea in the harbor for 4%. Revolutionary War was over taxation without representation. Are you being represented